What's up everyone? It's your girl Naia, and today we're diving into some seriously mind-blowing tech. We're checking out this video titled Ray Tracing on a Handheld is a Game Changer. MSI Claw Ai, come on, ray tracing on a handheld. That sounds like something straight out of a sci-fi movie. I can already feel my gamer heart racing. Are we about to witness the future of gaming right in the palm of our hands? Or is it just another case of tech trying to impress us while we're still struggling to find the charger for our devices? Either way, you know I'm here for the laughs, the gasps, and the occasional face spam moment, so grab your snacks, hit that like button, and let's see if this handheld can really change the game or if it's just a flashy gimmick. Don't forget to subscribe if you're ready for some epic reactions. Let's jump right in.
This is the new MSI Claw Ai Plus, and it can actually run Cyberpunk 2077 with ray tracing set to ultra. I've been messing around with this handheld for the last couple weeks, and I'm really impressed by what it can do.
It's wild to hear that this handheld can actually run Cyberpunk 2077 on ultra settings. I mean, who would have thought we'd be gaming like this on the go? It's like carrying a mini gaming rig in your hands. I can only imagine the graphics popping off. This could change the way we game on the road.
It can do. It's definitely. Speaking of that, let's head over to a new PC that I recently built. As you can.
Finally, we're getting back to the tech. A new PC build. I'm all ears. I love seeing how people set up their rigs. It's like a peek into their gaming soul. I can't wait to see what kind of specs and features they've packed into this one. Let's see if it's a beast or just another pretty face.
As you can see, we're in the description. And remember, you can use code ETA for 25% off.
Finally, we're back to the gaming, and look at that Minecraft on the screen. This handheld is really showing off its versatility. I mean, who doesn't love a good block building session? It's like a digital Legoland. I can't wait to see how it handles the graphics and performance. Let's see if it can keep up with all that pixelated action.
So first things first, I wanted to get Minecraft out of the way, and I know that this isn't the best example of ray tracing, but personally I think it looks pretty good, and this is one that I tested on the ROG Ally with ray tracing, and over there we only saw an average of around 18 FPS at the lowest resolution we could hit, which was 720p on that 16:9 aspect ratio display. On the MSI Claw, the way we've got it set up right now, we're actually at 900p, so it's
Okay, now we're talking running Minecraft at 900p on the MSI Claw. That's impressive. It's great to see how it's handling the graphics better than the ROG Ally. I mean, who doesn't want a smoother gaming experience? This could really elevate those block building sessions. Let's see how it performs with the ray tracing effects.
100p. So it's 1440 by 900 because we've got a 16:10 aspect ratio display on this unit, and we're at 30 FPS. It's a
30 FPS on Minecraft with ray tracing. That's actually pretty solid for a handheld. It's nice to see it keeping up, especially with all those vibrant colors and effects. This could really change the way we experience games on the go. I'm curious to see how it handles more demanding titles.
It's a little weird. It feels like it's locked down there. When I get into the menu, it comes on up. I've got VSync completely off. I'm not exactly sure if this is a trait of the game with ray tracing enabled or not. But yeah, I mean, we're seeing a pretty steady 30 out of this. And again, I think it looks really good, and it really comes down to the global illumination.
Global illumination in Minecraft. Now that's a game changer. It's amazing how much of a difference that makes in terms of lighting and atmosphere. It really enhances the whole experience, making those blocks pop even more. I'm loving how this handheld is showcasing the game's potential.
It kind of stands out here, especially with these bright neon colors. And I know it's not the best example of ray tracing, but it's still something I wanted to show off here, given that, I've tested this in the past on an AMD iGPU, and we weren't getting great performance. And at 30, I'd say this is really playable. The next one I wanted to test here was F1 2024. And yeah, it's an EA game. You can play this offline, but the
Phone 2024 on a handheld. That's exciting. Being able to play offline is a huge plus, especially for those long trips or when the Wi-Fi is acting up. I can only imagine how intense those races will be on this device. Let's see how it handles the speed and graphics.
This offline, but the only reason I'm testing it is because it does have Intel's new XeSS frame generation and ray tracing here. So what I did was take it to high. I've turned on all of the ray tracing and XeSS frame generation here. I think if we added a little more scaling at 900p, we could definitely hit that steady 60 with this game the way it is. But as you see, at the end of the benchmark, we had a minimum of 48. average of 56, and a maximum of 75. Next on the
Whoa, those numbers are impressive. A max of 75 FPS? That's fantastic for a handheld. It looks like this device is really holding its own with Phone 2024. I can only imagine how smooth the gameplay must feel. This could be a serious contender for portable gaming. Let's see how it performs in the actual race.
Next on the list, one of my favorite arcade racers, Forza Horizon 5, and this does have ray tracing built in, and with these iGPUs I usually leave it completely off, but I wanted to show you right here, we're at 900p, high settings, and at the very bottom we've got ray tracing set to ultra. If I go to ultra with ray tracing set to ultra, it does kind of fall on its face, but I think high looks pretty good here. And while racing in this game, especially at night, you can definitely notice that ray tracing, but one area that it really stands out in is the Forza Vista area. So
Forza Vista really showcasing ray tracing? That's awesome. It's like a car show in a game. The detail and lighting must look incredible, especially with those shiny cars reflecting the environment. This handheld is really proving it can handle some serious graphics. I can't wait to see how it looks in action.
So right here, it's just kind of a walk around whatever car you want to take a look at. You can open these doors, turn the lights on, and all of the reflections, the global illumination here just looks really good. But even with it set up like this on the Claw 8, 900p high settings, ray tracing ultra, we're seeing an average of 64 FPS in game. Next up, I've got Doom Eternal, and yeah, it's an older one. We're at 900p, that's kind of where we need to be, sweet.
Doom Eternal at 900? Now that's a classic. It's great to see how this handheld can handle even older titles, while still delivering a solid performance. This game is all about speed and action, so I'm curious to see how it performs with those intense graphics and fast-paced gameplay. Let's see if it can keep up with all the chaos.
Sweet spot with ray tracing on this. And unfortunately, this was kind of before the time of XeSS, it was never updated. We're at ultra settings, and I've also got ray tracing on. There are some DLSS options that'll help out with ray tracing, but not on this Intel chip. Would be pretty nice, and you can see with it set up like this, 100% resolution scale, it's really trying its hardest. If I was to scale this down a bit, I'd say 70% at 900p. We could run this over 60 with ray tracing enabled, but one
Over 60 FPS with ray tracing enabled? That's impressive for Doom Eternal. It's amazing how scaling can really optimize performance. This handheld is proving it can handle some serious action while still looking good. I can't wait to see how it performs in those intense battle scenes.
But one big thing to keep in mind is that the Claw 8 actually has a variable refresh rate display, so even though we're not at that 60 mark, we're not going to see any kind of screen tearing here, especially if you've got VSync set to 120, I'd say, because, you know, we've got that 120 hertz display. That's usually how I have these set up, and it does feel super smooth. Here's
Super smooth gameplays, that's what we love to hear. And look at that Spider-Man swinging through the city. This handheld is really showing off its capabilities. I can only imagine how amazing it feels to play such a dynamic game on the go. Let's see how it handles those fast-paced action sequences.
Here's Spider-Man Remastered, and with this, I didn't even go to 900p because this does run really well on these Intel chips. I did take it under 1200, so we're at 1680 by 1050. XeSS is set to balanced, and we're at very high, with ray tracing on high across the board. With all of these games, I really tried not to take XeSS to performance, just to kind of keep that resolution up a bit, and even though we're running this under 1200p, which is the native resolution of the MSI Claw.
Running Spider-Man Remastered under 1200p, that's impressive. The visuals must still look stunning, especially with ray tracing on. It's amazing how well this handheld can handle such a visually demanding game. Swinging through the city is going to feel epic. I can't wait to see how it performs in those action-packed moments.
8 screen, it still looks great because we've got a smaller screen here. Keeps everything nice and compact, and if I was to take this over to, let's say, a 32-inch monitor, you could really tell the difference standing side by side. And in order to tell the difference with these handhelds, as long as you're not under, 720p, you really got to get close to the handheld itself to kind of tell. But, if you're playing this in the real world, it looks great on these smaller displays. And finally, coming back around to Cyberpunk 2077.
Back to Cyberpunk 2077, yes please. This game is a visual feast, and I can't wait to see how it performs now that we've seen what this handheld can do with other titles. The neon lights and detailed environments are going to look amazing. Let's see if it can keep up with all that action and chaos.
In my opinion, this is pretty impressive. We're going to take this to Ray Tracing Ultra. We will be using XeSS. We're going to leave it right there at auto, and we're going to run this at 1440 by 900. Going into the settings, you can see we're already at Ray Tracing Ultra, but I'll switch it over just to show you. So that's going to set it up with the preset Ray Tracing Ultra. Under our display, we're at 1440 by 900, and XeSS is set to auto. It automatically sets it to auto.
Look at that, Cyberpunk 2077 running on Ray Tracing Ultra at 1440 by 900. The visuals must be absolutely stunning, especially with all those neon lights reflecting off the wet streets. This handheld is really pushing the limits. I can't wait to see how it performs in this vibrant, chaotic world.
We could get more out of it by going to performance, but again, I really didn't want to scale it down as much. Locking this down at 30 FPS would probably be the way to go, but I've got the frame rate unlocked right now, and yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be that impressive if this was a big PC. You know, running something like this at 30, 1080p with a dedicated GPU, not going to be too impressive, even though we're using Ray Tracing Ultra, but on a portable handheld, battery powered, this is pretty awesome. One thing that I'm actually really excited about is Intel's XeSS frame generation. Right now,
Intel's XeSS frame generation? Now that's a game changer. If it can boost performance while maintaining those stunning visuals, we're in for a treat. This could really enhance the gaming experience on handhelds, especially for demanding titles like Cyberpunk. I'm all in for seeing how it performs in action.
right now there's only a few titles that support it because this is using their newer Xe2 cores. But once it starts rolling out to more games, hopefully we do get it with Cyberpunk. I mean, I got a feeling they've kind of added everything to this. We may see it. With a setup like this, I believe we'd be able to lock it down at 45 FPS, Ray Tracing Ultra, and with something like that, we might not even need to scale it any lower than 900p. So we could probably turn off XeSS scaling in general. But this does look really good on the Claw 8's display, and
It's awesome to hear that Cyberpunk looks great on the Claw 8's display. The colors and details must really pop, especially with all that neon lighting. This handheld is proving to be a serious contender for gaming on the go. I can't wait to see how it handles the action in this vibrant world.
And it's really kind of hard to come across in a YouTube video, but I mean, it's pretty clean here at 900p. We're not using a ton of scaling, even though we've got it set to auto. I personally don't even think it's going to performance with the way it is. It's probably at balanced. But overall, I do think that this is some pretty impressive performance for a handheld gaming PC. So overall, not too bad for a battery-powered device. I wouldn't run out and buy this specifically for ray tracing.
That's a fair point. While the ray tracing capabilities are impressive, it sounds like this handheld shines in other areas too. It's all about finding the right balance for what you want in a gaming device. If it can handle a variety of games well, that's a win in my book. Let's see how it stacks up against other gaming options.
I mean, as you saw and I do have a couple more videos planned, so keep an eye on the channel.
Exciting to hear there are more videos planned. It sounds like this channel is going to keep delivering some awesome content. I can't wait to see what other games and features get explored next. This handheld is really opening up a world of possibilities for gaming on the go.
I want to put this chip up against the Ryzen Z1 Extreme in some real-world gaming and benchmark test, and I was originally going to do that, but I started testing ray tracing and noticed that, yeah, I mean, this 258V and the Claw 8 can do a little bit of ray tracing, so I figured I'd go ahead and show it off. But if there's any other games or applications you'd like to see running on this, like let's say an eGPU over USB 4, just let me know in the comments below. And if
an eGPU over USB 4? Now that's intriguing. The potential for enhanced graphics performance on a handheld is mind-blowing. I'd love to see how that setup would work with demanding games. It could really take portable gaming to the next level. Let's see what the comments bring in.
And if you're
Well, what a ride, fam. We just dove headfirst into the world of ray tracing on a handheld with the MSI Claw Ai 8. And let me tell you, I went from excited gamer girl to full-on tech enthusiast in no time. This device showing off its ability to run Cyberpunk 2077 on ultra settings? I mean, is it just me, or did we get smacked in the face with the future of gaming? It's like carrying a mini gaming rig that I can take to the bathroom. That's next level convenience. I was honestly worried going in, was this gonna be a huge letdown? But hey, it delivered. I'm particularly stoked about the 30 FPS on Minecraft with ray tracing. That's like, you guys know how much I love my pixelated block worlds. Not to mention the global illumination making the game look like it got a glow up after a trip to the salon. And let's talk about the smoothness. The fact that Doom Eternal can run over 60 FPS with ray tracing, now that is some juicy goodness, peeps. Seriously, it's like watching a blockbuster movie in your hands. The visuals are stunning, and I can't even hate on that. Final verdict to the MSI Claw Ai 8 is making a solid case for itself as a portable gaming powerhouse. If you can squeeze Cyberpunk, Forza, and even Marvel's Spider-Man into your pocket, then sign me up. I'm just praying this handheld doesn't end up being harder to charge than my 20 million other devices. Can we get a universal charger for once? So, if you enjoyed this wild tech safari with me today, smash that like button, subscribe for more epic reactions, and let's keep exploring this crazy gaming world. Until next time, keep your thumbs nimble and your snacks close.